Well, good evening, everybody. This is meteorologist Seth Bohnhoff here. Hope you've been having a good Mother's Day, but looks like things turned a little stormy here as we ran on here into the late afternoon hours. Things a little bit calmer than what they were earlier, but just wanted to hop on here and just kind of give a general update into what we're looking at here at the moment. So really not a ton of activity, but we've had quite a bit pass on through, and I just want to provide an update on still what's going on there and what we're looking ahead here to the rest of the night. As of course, it's a busy night for some of us, still celebrating some graduations there and of course some Mother's Day activities. Just going to kind of keep an eye on things here, kind of direct traffic, and show you guys what we're looking at here at the moment. So this storm has been pretty active here for a while. This is actually the storm we saw earlier over there in Sangamon County. I'll talk about what that one did here in just a moment. We're just going to talk about this one here at the moment. Right now, 60-mile-an-hour winds, nickel-sized hail. That's now moving into portions of northwestern Fayette County. And again, this is our only active severe warned storm at the moment. You can see up there, northwest Fayette County, kind of the Ramsey area, passing right over Hurricane at the moment, kind of moving right next to Carson there. So just watching northwestern Fayette County here for our current severe weather activity. But we do have a line of storms kind of up here around the I-55, I-72 interchange over there around the Cass, Morgan, Menard, and Sangamon County areas. And I just want to bring up one thing here real quick. We'll go right back to the radar here, and I'll take things full here for just a moment so you can get a little bit of a closer look. Those were our 3-hour rainfall totals, which have since changed there just a little bit. But you can see kind of a bullseye there just southwest of Springfield. Actually produced 2 inches of rain there pretty quickly. Even had a report come on in that there's about 6 inches of standing water there in portions of Sangamon County as well. They do have a flash flood warning there in that area. And we're going to go right back to our radar loop there. As I said just a moment ago, we got another line of storms moving on in. And although these are sub-severe, it's again hitting that same area that has just seen storms pass on through and actually caused some damage. Had some tree branches down, even had some power poles snap out that direction. And I know those folks in Sangamon County are kind of feeling a little bit of deja vu there at the moment, because they were the ones that got quite a bit out of this there last weekend as well. Just Chatham in particular had, I think, 4 different storms there, produced 4 different types of hail, 4 different hail sizes there. And that's kind of the same area, feeling it again. Now, hail was pretty big earlier. I believe we got up to egg size at one point, just maybe golf ball size at other points in time. But this one, it's really been the heavy rain, and that's why we're a little concerned about this line moving on in. Whether or not it is severe warned, there's going to be quite a bit of rain here moving, and these storms do not have a ton of pace to them. As you can kind of see, this is an hour loop that we're showing there, and it's taken a little bit of time there for it to move across Sangamon County there. So just kind of watching things there. Already flooded areas may continue to see some of that rain there right now. So we are monitoring that. I'm going to turn off our studio noise here that just kicked on, take care of that. But that's what we're watching here. That's kind of my main concern at the moment. We did have stronger storms earlier. And again, that was around this same area. But since then, storms have weakened some. But we're just seeing it happen in the wrong spots there. There's some other areas that, yes, would probably have some tree limbs blown around there just a little bit with some of these storms, but the fact that it's in the same area is just a little bit more of a concern there. I'm going to take a look quickly in the chat. I see something that Michael put down there. Springfield Fire Rescue just responded to a water rescue on Meadowbrook and Marigold Street. Completely flooded. Careful heading home. So that is a great report there from Michael. So anyone there in the Sangamon County area, again, lots of rain there piling up there on the roads, starting to see some flooded roads. And again, you've got that flash flood warning out that direction as well. I'm going to pull up a graphic here that's going to show you all of our current alerts in the area. Got some people asking about different parts of the area. This is really concentrated around the I-55 region. Once we get that one to load up here, show you all those watches and warnings. And again, kind of concentrated around I-55, parts of I-70 as well. I'll put myself on screen here just to direct traffic a little bit. So again, this area in pink, severe thunderstorm watch, that is until 10 o'clock here tonight. So we're just watching over the course of the next 3 or 4 hours or so. Again, with those, it's not a magic time or anything, not like storms are just going to stop right then and there. But that's when we think the best chance really starts to recede there. So watching until 10 tonight. But there's that flash flood warning there, just there in Sangamon County, a little bit south of Springfield there. Again, same places that saw quite a bit of rain. Pawnee was the one that got, I think, around 8 to 10 inches there, according to our radar estimates last weekend. They're just a little bit south here of the rain bullseye, but again, the same spots they're getting all the rain, and that's no good. That's not a good combination there. And of course, still watching that one severe warning storm just slowly moving there into Fayette County. I want to give a little update as to what we saw earlier, just some reports that we got in. We'll take the screen full here yet again, and we're just going to we'll put our radar on here for just a moment. We're going to move things around, and we're going to bring you some reports that we've gotten here of some damages that we've had in the area. So we're going to get those pulled up here in just a moment because we have had quite a bit of activity there. Again, those earlier storms were the stronger ones that did make their impact felt, but of course dealing with some different impacts here at the moment. So we're going to kind of hunt around here, get that storm report. I'm going to take that one off the screen here real quick, just go one by one. We'll talk about all those here as we continue to look. But you see those two images, actually 3 images that look like a house there. That's the one we're going to talk about a little bit here. I'll give a little bit of a zoom out to allow for the boxes to pull up here without completely log jamming the screen. But we did have one spot there just right around Chatham here. Look at that box to pop up there. Again, that's the report. Got some 3-inch tree limbs being broken there. Power poles obviously broken as well. Those are some of the reports we've had in that part of the county, but almost an identical report. I believe it is an identical report there out of Pawnee. We'll pull up here in just a moment. That one is a different one there, so 2 power poles leaning to the south, so we've got some power poles leaning that direction. But I think that one logo there to just the left of it is, yes, going to bring us an almost identical report with those 3-inch tree limbs being broken and power poles down as well. We did get some decent-sized hail this direction. I'm thinking the biggest was about 1.5 inches in diameter. Kind of click around on these. I don't believe there was anything huge here earlier. I'm just going to kind of thumb around on those, and I'll read it here off the side of my screen rather than having to block up the screen there. We've had hail about 1.25 inches there just around the Chatham area. Down there around Pawnee, looks like we got about 1.5 inches that direction as well. So kind of approaching that golf ball size is what they saw. It's what they saw there earlier. I'm going to move a little bit further to the south. Those same storms did make for some pretty impressive hail sizes down here in far southwestern Christian County. I'll just throw a tag on those. I think it is the one here. I think it is the one here on the left. Nope, that is the smaller one here. So we're going to pop that other one on screen. I believe it was 1.8 inches. Yep, 1.8 there near Harville, near the town of Harville. So getting really close to that 2-inch hail size. That's about they call it a hen's egg size. So just imagine egg-sized hail there. Again, pretty impressive sizes there. And that is going to be, it's going to cause a little bit of damage once you get hail sizes up to that point. So again, that was earlier. Right now, we are not seeing that kind of damage here to the area. Right now, we're just kind of seeing quarter-size hail. I believe maybe it was $half. I'm going to double check on that, see what the radar estimates are telling us here at the moment. So they've actually got nickel-size hail. That's right on that. Storm now in northwestern Fayette County. As you can see, plenty of heavy rain. This one only moving 15 miles an hour, so just kind of slowly dragging through there. So some of those low-lying areas there might be a little bit of a concern now for some flash flooding out that direction, as this storm, you can see, has plenty of heavy rain tied into it there. And it's also just going to move over those same areas. I've been talking about that Ramsey corner of the county there for about the last 30 minutes. Talked about it there on the live show as well. So there's been plenty of rain that direction. And it's, again, just becoming a little bit of a concern there as we just watch these storms slowly try to crawl across the area. We are seeing maybe a few pockets of development going on just west of the area. We're going to watch that. But overall, when you see these more linear storms, it's a little bit more of a widespread risk, obviously, but as opposed to those individual storms, you're not going to see quite the same punch packed there on a local scale with some of those. But that's kind of the concern at the moment, is right here around the Sangamon County area. Again, despite not being in severe warnings, that's just the spot that's gotten too much rain here again today. So that's the concern here with these current storms. We're going to toss the Springfield camera on there. This has been there's been quite a bit of rain on that camera for the last couple of hours now. Maybe there was some breaks here and there in the action, but things have been pretty cloudy and pretty rainy, I want to say, since maybe even 3 or 3:30 here, as that first storm, the most impressive looking storm, we were about ready to get things moving there here on digital, and almost kind of looking into a chance of perhaps breaking on air there for just a moment, just because it was a good looking storm. We saw some rotation on our cameras, kind of saw a wall cloud starting to lower just a little bit there, but kind of just saw nothing really formulating there out of that. So we just kind of cautiously watched that one as it moved on by. Did not end up getting any kind of tornado warning tagged on that, but obviously a sinister look there for a little bit. So when you start to get those lowering clouds, definitely start to become a little uneasy as you watch those storms move across. But that one over in Springfield, just south of Springfield, was the storm here of the day. But again, that one has since subsided some, and now not looking quite too bad here across the area. So we're going to kind of continue to monitor how things unfold here as we head on into the evening. Again, watching until that 10 p.m. time frame for when that severe thunderstorm watch is going to expire, but really just kind of watching around I-55 and around that I-70 region there for our best chance for some severe storms. We just got an update on flash flood warning. I'm going to see if I can toss those warnings on here. I know a couple of these graphics are going to show some weird things here. I'm going to see if we can pull those up. Just kind of get current warnings there in the air. So yes, they extended that flash flood warning there. We got the nice tags on there to kind of help us out. So that flash flood warning is pushed a little bit more northwest of the area as that slow moving line of storms has started to move on in, and it's again causing some problems there to an area that's already seen quite a bit of rain. So that now encompasses very small portions of Cass, Menard, and Morgan counties, but obviously starting to take up much more real estate there in the Sangamon County area where things were a bit more active earlier. Those other three counties kind of avoided that first storm. That first storm really started bubbling up there in the Sangamon County area. So those places are a little bit at risk as that line moves on through, but again, a little bit of a concern here for the central Sangamon County area south of Springfield and perhaps even parts of Springfield there as well. So if we've got anybody listening here on the stream that's out that direction, just kind of let us know what you're seeing, anything you've heard out that direction, because this is kind of the hot spot that we are monitoring as we start to get later on here into this Mother's Day evening. I'm going to toss up 3-hour rainfall totals, just kind of see what the radar indications are telling us here. We have had some official reports of close to 2 inches there. The radar is going to do us a good enough job of kind of guesstimating the highest, but I do believe 1 3/4 inches was the highest official report that we got. So we've got Rachel here saying the pond behind Lowe's so flooded the picnic tables in the water. So yeah, definitely seeing this rain really start to take over here. These kind of puddling up and formulating of almost these kind of small ponds there in the area as that water just starts to bubble up there. Actually got quite a bit of rain up there in Cass County as well. Radar indicated about 2.7 inches. Now, I believe that one, I could be wrong. I think this line of storms is the first line of storms here that they've seen. So that could have all come in a pretty short period of time as well. Same with the storms there that we saw in Sangamon County. But this 2.3 inches, that 2.7 inches, that was over the course of, well, I should say here in order because there are 2 different storms there. That Sangamon County one, about 2.3 inches in the span of maybe an hour, maybe even a little bit less of a time frame there as well. So again, a lot of rain there in a short period of time, but we're also starting to see that up there a bit northwest of this area, kind of northwest of that I-55, I-72 interchange there. So again, flash flood warning for a good chunk of Sangamon County there in the central and now northwestern parts of Sangamon County. I'll toss that back up on here real quickly, and you can see that is the swath here that we're kind of watching for that rain to really start to pile up. Now, one of those is set to expire at 7:30. That one on the right, that one that kind of protrudes a little bit southeast. We'll watch that. This line's about to move in that same area, so if they've got 9:15 set for those other flash flood warnings, I would not be too shocked there to see that original one also start to expand just a bit there. So that's the concern, is the flooding here at the moment. We're not completely out of the woods as far as severe weather goes. We still have quite a bit of humidity there in the air. I'm just going to let you look at the dew points there for just a moment and just kind of verbally describe what we're seeing. So those dew points are around 70. You see even pink there in Macoupin County. That's dew points up there into the 70s itself. They're actually getting close to the mid 70s. So we got a lot of moisture tied up there. So there's still a chance as we head towards sunset to see some more storms continue to fire up, but we're starting to see that that basic line forming out there to the northwest. Keep moving things here up this direction. We'll take a peek up there again. That's the line of storms that we're keeping track of. We're also going to watch as perhaps another little cluster of storms moves on in there from the west. But right now, particularly, and yep, we're starting to see a stronger storm here on the southern part of Sangamon County. So I'm watching this one. This one looks like it's getting just a little bit stronger than the rest of the line there. And again, Chatham, Auburn area. This is the same place that was hit really hard there last week, and Glenarm as well. Looked earlier, had radar indications of 2-inch hail that direction. So kind of get ready there for another round, as it looks like things are probably going to get a bit windy down that direction here anytime now. You're going to see some hail, it looks like there, with a little bit of pink and dark red. Probably not as big as you saw earlier, but kind of get ready for another round of storms there. It's just been a lot to handle there in central and southern Sangamon County here over the last 2 weekends. Again, it's unfortunate to have these storms overlap in the exact same spot here on back-to-back weekends, but that's the reality of what we're looking at here at the moment. Yep, seeing those same towns that we saw last time, the Chatham, Pawnee area, again, Auburn, these same places that saw the action there last weekend. Getting ready to see some pretty heavy rain. I'm going to move around the Springfield cam. I'll keep the radar up here in just a moment, but I'm going to look straight south there and see if there is anything to see as I look to the south, or if the rain is just completely blocking us, because things are looking pretty heavy there on radar out that direction. So we're going to maneuver that camera around. I think I'm going to have to battle the wind here to get the camera to turn, but I think it's going to work in my favor here. There's several antennas kind of in the way of this camera. I'm going to do my best there to get you a decent shot of the area of interest without getting things too obstructed. So we're going to move to that here. Again, looking south of Springfield towards the Chatham area, towards the Glenarm area as well. You can see enough there in the distance, but you can also tell that there's some pretty heavy rain out that direction. Not getting too much lightning on this cam, I do not believe, here in Springfield, but those south of town are probably getting a little bit of a light show there as these storms start to move on through as well. So if you're just now joining us, the main threat here at the moment, not necessarily severe storms anymore, so much as it is storms hitting the same spots over and over. That's kind of been the story here for the last hour or so. We did have some individual storms causing some damage in this area that we're now seeing a second round of storms. So already got some power lines down, already got some tree branches snapped, and it looks like we're going to have to be dealing with some pretty strong winds there, kind of south of the I-72 region. So looking like that's going to head towards northern Macoupin and northern Montgomery counties here before too long as well. You're just seeing that little bow structure there as the winds really start to increase down here in the southwest part of the area. So we get that line of storms now that we've kind of been anticipating here moving throughout the night. So that is of interest here at the moment. We're going to check back in here and look at that. I mean, still Ramsey there under quite a bit of heavy rain, and also watching just a little bit of that might be a little bit of a I'm not sure if that's a true radar reading there. Is that little indication there of red just south of Vandalia? It doesn't look like it's moving hardly at all. Not saying there's nothing there, but that kind of almost looks a little false here on screen. But obviously, even if it is or is not, you're going to have that storm really looking like it's going to kind of is taking a little bit of a pure south turn there. So Vandalia might be wanting to get ready here soon just for some strong winds. And I believe nickel-size hail the last we checked. We're going to see that again. We're going to just check our hail sizes. And yep, still looking at nickel-size hail. But with this 15-mile-an-hour movement, kind of more south and southeast at this time. But the big concern is to just be prepared there for some of that heavy rain to arrive in the area. And this storm, luckily enough, looks small enough, just area-wise, to where that hopefully won't be too much of an issue, even if it is slow moving. Hopefully it's small enough there to where even that heavy rain will do its thing, but then it'll move out there in a relatively short span of time just due to its size, and hopefully not cause too much chaos there in Fayette County. But yeah, thinking a little bit about the northwestern part of Fayette County, as that storm has been pretty slow moving. So that's something to monitor. But also just take a look here behind this storm. You see a couple of additional little storms popping up there, maybe starting to get some noise there in Hillsborough. In fact, I'm going to toss lightning on here for just a moment. Yep, starting to see some of those individual thunderstorms jump up behind it. Just a little bit of development there on the back side of some of these storms. So what you see on screen right now may change in about 5 minutes there. As you see, even out west of the area there, you see some storms just starting to pop up there in a couple of places. So even though we've got ourselves a pretty decent look at some storms here at the moment, there might be a few more starting to jump into the picture as well. Also look like we might have a little bit of activity out here around the Macon County area, kind of around that Piatt and Moultrie County line there. Looks like that's just kind of rain here at the moment, so maybe not too much to worry about there, but starting to get a little bit of eastward extent here on these storms as they kind of trail a little bit of a boundary here moving on to the evening. As promised, we're going to look ahead here to the rest of the night. I'll pull up a few more graphics here to get you guys in the know here for the night ahead, in case you need to be getting back to some of your activities there, if you just want to check in and see an update of what's heading in here tonight. So here's the risks we're looking at. Again, nothing I haven't said here already. Looking at flooding and strong winds there as your highest threats. Large hail was the threat earlier. As these storms cluster together, that starts to drop there. You don't really start to see those large hailstones there as long as there is a kind of what we call a low shear environment. Just kind of depends on the winds up there in the higher levels of these storms. So we kind of saw that with some of those individual cells earlier. Haven't seen it quite as much there with that line of storms. Cannot completely rule out tornado chances, but our healthiest looking storm did not produce one earlier, so I'm a little optimistic there that we are going to hopefully be seeing that chance die down here in the next couple of hours. Just in case, though, there's the tornado risk zone. The numbers are already pretty low, 2 out of 10 there for your highest chances, and just 1 out of 10 with a little more northeast extent there. So hopefully we're starting to calm those chances just a little bit. But we'll get a look at your future track here and show you what's ahead here the rest of the night. Again, sometimes these models are pretty good, sometimes these models are not very good at depicting the current situation. So those storms a little bit out of order here at the moment, not exactly in the exact right spots, but this model does a good job of giving you an idea of what's going to come here out of the rest of the night. Those storms really going to congeal. That does a good job of depicting there that line that we're seeing right now, maybe just a little bit off there on location. But you can kind of see that line of storms starting to bow out there into the southwest, maybe just some kind of little complexes of storms as we move close to the 9 and 10 o'clock hours. But I think that severe thunderstorm watch is appropriately timed there. I think once we cross 10 o'clock, I just don't think there's going to be as much of a chance there for some severe weather, and even sending this model ahead here into the rest of the night. You can just see just clouds there across the area, maybe a few showers to start off our Monday, but looking like once we cross 10 o'clock there, things should be good. And again, if you're just now jumping in here wondering if you are at risk for any kind of severe weather, that's your severe thunderstorm watch box active until 10 p.m. here tonight. So that encompasses pretty much everyone west of, I believe that's west of I-57 there and kind of south of I-72. So kind of just forming a little bit of boundary there, trying to do my best to describe using the interstates there. But you can, of course, see for yourself whatever county that you are in. That is where you're going to see our chance for some severe weather. We've got Cheyenne saying there was hail in Nokomis. I was watching that one earlier just before the 5:30 show. Put on our little hail tracker. I believe that's where I saw, I believe, close to 2 inches. It may have said 2 inches at the time. Now that's radar indicated. That is not a official report, but there was there's pretty impressive hail there at one point. We've got a little bit of a change here in what we're looking at as far as our severe thunderstorm warning down there in Fayette County. Just got an update on that one, so we're going to move things over that direction. And in fact, that is a separate severe thunderstorm warning. So we're going to move in here on that and observe what is happening down that direction. So yeah, looks like they've pushed ahead there on that warning. And now have it heading into Vandalia for good there. And that is some true radar indications there. It was just kind of a weird look. It looked like it was going nowhere, but that little we'll call it puddle there south of Vandalia, that is producing a little bit of just a small scale storm there. And that one's really not moving. So if you're just south of Vandalia there, that one's a little bit concerning just for the fact that that storm has been producing some good rain there this is an hour loop, so about the last 45 minutes, there's been some pretty steady rain just south of town there. And of course, you're about to get hit by a pretty mature looking storm here, at least one that is going to bring some pretty heavy rain at times. Even starting to see some nice pink in there as well. So that means you're starting to see some decent hail sizes pop into the picture again. Just kind of dropping a pin here on this warning. Quarter size hail now indicated, not surprised there. Starting to see that pink fill into that storm. So there's those 2 active warnings there at the moment. This one is in effect there until, let's see, wherever it says. That one is in effect till about 7:15. So yeah, about 50 minutes of warning time there. And that's usually not a good thing to hear, surely based on the fact that That's a long time for a warning. When you start to push those warnings to 45 minutes to an hour, that means the storm's going to stick around for a while. And you just don't want a storm with that much heavy rain staying in one place there too often, or else you'll kind of get the situation that we're getting up here northwest of that area. Really starting to feel some heavy rain there in Chatham, Auburn, Waverly, Louder down that direction. So central and southwestern Sangamon County really feeling the rain. And that really extends all the way to the far western reaches of the area there, all the way into Morgan County, just south of I-72 there. So that is kind of a two-part, two pieces to the puzzle here that we're watching tonight. That one storm that has been it's been causing a little bit of trouble for much of the area. That one has kind of evolved a little bit, kind of changed shape and sizes here a few times, but that's really the one that's been making the noise all day, the kind of that general cluster. So that one now heading into the Vandalia area, and that one looks like it is taking a pretty nice southern turn there. So Vandalia might be taking kind of a head-on impact here of this storm. So you might get yourself some quarter-size hail here after a bit. And quite a bit of rain potentially as well. So kind of a few hot spots in the area for heavy rain. One up there in Sangamon County and kind of starting to split northwest there as that line moves on through. But this is one to keep in mind. Anyone there in the Fayette County area, if you know anyone there in the Fayette County area, kind of get ready for quite a bit of rain here. You might start to see some serious puddling there, some filling of the ditches, and potentially some flooding of roads there in low-lying areas. So that's the concern there with these storms. You're going to get some decent hail, though. Like I said, that pink is going to start to produce some quarter-size hail. But that won't do, I don't think that'll do as much damage as what some of this heavy rain could do here as we watch that storm push on through. But again, up here, south of I-72, now west of I-55, getting quite a bit of rain here along this line. Probably also starting to get pretty breezy as well. I'm going to pull up that Springfield camera and just kind of see how it's moving around. Maybe not look at the rain quite so much as we're looking at that wind moving around. Yeah, that camera's really shaking. That camera's shaking pretty good there. I'm going to pull up our gusts, our active gusts there, and we'll freeze the camera there while I'm getting that next graphic pulled up there, so we're not losing signal there with that one. Oh yeah, looking at those gusts, they're coming in pretty good there, around 30 miles an hour outside of the storms. Maybe within the storms though, you're getting a little bit of extra winds there. Staying sub-severe, so that means we're staying under 57 miles an hour there, but still pretty gusty. 50-mile-an-hour gusts there potentially, and that can toss around some stuff there. So just be ready for some of those stronger winds in that part of the area. We've got Tessa watching here from southeast Fayette County, so you probably definitely want to get a closer look at what's coming down that direction. Here is where that storm is heading at the moment, and again, this is moving just 15 miles an hour, so very slowly moving down there to the southeast. I'm going to get our little storm squall out here, and we're just going to put it on 15 miles an hour. This is a good way to see what towns are in the path here of this storm and when it will arrive. So we're just going to draw our line right at the leading edge of that storm, and we're going to pull it out here for about, you see that says an hour right there, and it's still not making it all the way across the county. So we're going to pull up that list of towns here, kind of get it out of the way of the moving storm. So Sharon, looking like you're getting hit here right now. Vandalia within the next 20 minutes. That's when you're going to start to, it's when things are going to start to get pretty active your way. Otago there, 6:55. It won't be till after 7 until we get to the Confidence and Wilburton area there. So if you're one of those towns in the path of that storm, that is what time you can expect it to arrive. And looking at up to quarter-size hail, maybe starting to get a little bigger there, starting to see some darker purples and pinks there within that storm. So you might be talking half-dollar size hail here before too long. And a lot of rain. That's the one thing to keep in mind, is that things are going to get pretty wet here, and this storm is going to take an hour just to get 3/4 of the way across the county. So that's how slow moving it is, and you just don't want too much rain there in one period of time. And I'm getting particularly interested in what's going on southeast of Vandalia, because that little leading storm there is already producing some rain, and if this one north of town there moves over the same spot, you can get some pretty high rainfall totals there, because it might be on a really local scale there for southeast of town, but the Kaskaskia area there, the Augsburg, maybe Wilburton area, doesn't look like there's any towns popping up there right southeast of Vandalia. But of course, if you're kind of right outside the downtown area, you're getting quite a bit of rain, and that storm north of town could be adding to that here before too long. So we'll watch that one as that one exits the area. I've kind of said all that needs to be said about current concerns. Really just watching flooding here as our biggest concern, particularly here south of Sangamon County as well. But we'll kind of watch this Fayette County storm as that one starts to move on out. We'll see that one here kind of exit the area, start to get there to the far reaches of the area. And hopefully we don't see any additional severe storms here throughout the night, but I don't know. I think I'm betting against that here at the moment because I do see a little bit of development. I have seen some strengthening of a few of these storms at points in time, even if they have not fired up there to severe level. So it's worth continuing to watch here, especially because these are areas receiving round 2 of storms here. So it'd be different if you were just now getting this for the first time, but the fact that you've already got yourself a pretty decent round of storms and you're getting ready here for another one. So tossing rain onto already puddled roads. We've had reports of over 6 inches there of standing water in parts of central Sangamon County there. Chatham, Pawnee areas, power poles broken, trees down as well. I'm just going to take a look here and see what the current power outages here are across the area. So I'm going to pull that up real quick while you guys continue to watch the radar there. And we're going to see where we're seeing the most power outages here at the moment. I would suspect probably there in that Sangamon County area, but we'll pull up here. Actually, not looking too bad. Not as many power outages as it looked like there. Just under 30 are out in Sangamon County. That's actually it's actually pretty impressive there, considering how rainy it's been and how stormy it's really been in that direction. So that's good to hear. Good to hear that we're just 30 under there in power outages. That really looks to be the only spot here in the area that's really experiencing that. So luckily, we haven't had too much direct storm impact as far as strong winds. We did have a couple places, like I just mentioned, have some tree lines snapped, or have some trees snapped and some power lines be damaged there as well. But it looks like, as far as widespread threat, the power outages aren't really affecting too many people there. Of course, the people that do not have power there, obviously concerned about that, but overall looking like we kind of dodged a bullet, so to speak, there as far as seeing that widespread outage. So watching this storm, particularly about to enter the Vandalia area. So again, if you're in Vandalia, Otago, Confidence area, I want to start getting inside there right now. You start to see those dark storm clouds probably roll on in. I know a lot of people probably want to be out today celebrating Mother's Day, kind of that springtime feel. Want to be outside there in the yard. And for the most part, today didn't look too bad. It actually was a cloudier day, kind of a stickier day, but there was nothing wrong about the way the day looked there for the longest time. Maybe even sunshine in a couple places. So for all intents and purposes, it didn't look like it was going to be much of a struggle here today. But we knew these storm chances were going to come here later on in the afternoon. Hopefully, if you were celebrating earlier today, you got that taken care of there ahead of the storms, because right now looking like things are gonna rightfully have to be indoors here for a little bit. I'm working with the Effingham camera right now. I'll point that to the west, and we're gonna watch and see what that storm now in central Fayette County is looking like here from Effingham County. That is our closest camera that we can get here. Of course, we'd love to have a view right there in the action, but we'll work with what we can get here. So I'm gonna toss that on screen here for just a moment. And that is the look at Effingham. Doesn't look overly worrisome there. Of course, quite a bit of rain between here and Vandalia, so that might be why you're not seeing quite as much texture there with those clouds. But we do obviously have a severe storm out of that direction. Not heading towards Effingham County. This one's heading straight south out of the area there. So Effingham, you don't have too much to worry about there. The town of Effingham itself. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to stay here in Fayette County. I'm not really too worried about this particular storm doing anything in Effingham County, so we're just kind of watching from that direction. But like I said, Vandalia, get ready there for a pretty decent storm that could bring some solid hail sizes that direction. Still warned there for a quarter-size hail, but as those purples continue to get darker there, that's where you start to see some of your either some really locally heavy rain, or more likely you start to get a little more of a concentration of hail that direction. So again, watching right up and down 51 here between Kaskaskia and Vandalia, where things are particularly a little bit particularly wet here at the moment. So that is what we are watching there to the south. Of course, don't want to forget about what's happening here out west, because it's the same story. You're having rain impact the same areas that you've seen rain impact already, and that's just a little bit concerning there. We don't want to have too much of a flood situation, but that kind of looks like what we're heading towards is probably going to see some flooded roads here in parts of Sangamon County, and that's, again, that's just no good considering that we already had to deal with that there last weekend. So just kind of a popular spot out there just south of town, and yeah, that's kind of what we're kind of having to deal with here. Unfortunate for those people there in Sangamon County to have to deal with this again. But hopefully that is going to pass soon. This line, once it passes there, looks like there's going to be a little bit of stratiform light rain on the backside of that. But it doesn't look like there's a ton of development there on the northwest side of this line. So hopefully once that pushes through, and we saw on Future Track earlier, that looks like the scenario is going to play out. That line will push through, maybe some showers behind it, but overall the threat is just going to continue to move as that line of storms moves down here towards the southeast. But again, watching here, particularly north of Macoupin County, see how that line has just gotten a little stronger here within the last 30 minutes or so. So watching that as it moves on in. We've actually got a cancellation of part of our severe thunderstorm watch. I'll have to pull up the box here real quick to see where that is. I don't imagine they canceled, obviously, the entire box here because we still have that line of active storms to watch. But I wouldn't be surprised to start to see a couple counties up there to the northwest start to fade off the board. We'll look, though, real quick. We'll see what counties are still remaining in the watch box. So, yep, looks like Cass, Menard. I don't know if, I don't think, well, maybe Logan County and Macon County were earlier. So if you were, you're not anymore here, and if you weren't in the first place, well, obviously you're still not here. So that, as that line moves through, you're going to probably notice some counties start to fade off the board there on the severe thunderstorm watch. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign showing that as that line moves through, our threat decreases. So we'll watch as that line pushes on through, and that's really the remaining threat. Can't rule out there a few storms gathering some strength along that line, maybe hitting severe status at some point. But this doesn't look to be too out of control here at the moment. But the strongest storms still residing down there in Fayette County, Vandalia, probably getting ready to feel the impact there before too long. So we've got just kind of a sandwich around town there, north of town, south of town, seeing rain on both sides, and it looks like those are kind of mesh together here before too long. So it'll be pretty intense rain here at times, and hopefully this storm gets on its horse a little bit and kind of tries to move out of the area, because we don't want this to sit still here for too long and cause the same problems that we're seeing up there in Sangamon County. Seeing a few people trying to chime in here in the comments. I'm just going to give kind of an overview of where we're looking at here with these storms. I don't see much of a problem up and down I-57. We're really just kind of looking west here. Where you see the storms at right now, that's pretty much where they're going to stay. Not going to say that you're not going to see any kind of rain here, obviously, because you can see in Macon County they're probably starting to get a few showers. But as far as storm chances go, kind of look where those storms are currently, and that's pretty much where they're heading here for the rest of the night. So a little calmer than what it was earlier as far as individual storm impacts, but a little more widespread with this line now starting to head south of Morgan and Sangamon counties there, down I-55, getting ready to take their turn is Macoupin County and Montgomery County yet again there. So we'll watch how this develops. We'll see how things play out here. That line of storms could be heading towards the same direction that this particular cell has been moving in for the last couple of hours. So of course that would bring higher chances for some flash flooding as well. So that'll be something to watch. We're continuing to watch this storm as it slowly moves through there. Again, not going to see a whole lot of updates out of this one as we just kind of watch it, because it is not moving very far at all there. Kind of got some weight around its ankles there as it tries to walk on through the viewing area here. But that really looks to be the strongest storm here at the moment. We're going to kind of keep around here for a little bit and watch how this line develops. But I think right now, strong winds are about what you're feeling at the worst. Maybe starting to see some smaller hail there from Scottville to Auburn. But that's not much of a concern there compared to the rain that we're seeing. I'm going to toss on the rainfall totals again, and I'm going to extend it to 6 hours because I believe 3 hours ago stuff may have just started, but there may have been some pretty impressive rain in there that I might miss if I do the 3-hour rainfall. So we're going to toss on the 6-hour totals there, just kind of look at things here real briefly and then get back to radar. So yeah, the Sangamon County area, particularly southwest of Springfield there, I believe, yeah, right down I-72 there, so around the Archer, the Southern View area there, just kind of the southwestern suburbs of the capital, have seen the most rain, and I believe that yellow is starting to approach 2.5 inches there on the radar indicated totals, actually getting up to 3 inches there. So yeah, well beyond your 2.5 inches there. Kind of two little hot spots there in yellow, both north along I-55 and south along I-55 as well, kind of more around the I-72 region. So plenty of rain is fallen in that area. Thankfully, though, if you're northwest of Springfield here, you're maybe just going to tack on maybe another 1/10 of an inch, but it looks like your heaviest rain is now has now come to pass. So that's good. You obviously have picked up quite a bit here, but if we can start to drain some of that water here, we're going to be obviously sitting in much better shape than if those storms don't move on out. So it's been a little bit of a lengthier update here, but I just want to keep people informed that are in those flash flood zones. Probably going to watch as this storm moves out of Fayette County and kind of just watch and see in unison with that how this line unfolds. But if we stay sub-severe here, thinking that things will be relatively here okay. Just going to kind of watch that flood risk as this line of storms starts to move southeast. I believe Macoupin County, for the most part, has stayed dry. I'm a little concerned about this path that I'm drawing here at the moment because I do believe far northern Montgomery County and southern Christian County have had quite a bit of rain. And obviously, as you follow that arrow, we get into Fayette County there eventually, which is starting to see quite a bit of rain. So that's what to watch. I would have to say at this point that the flooding risk is probably the most pressing risk here at the moment. Not so much any kind of severe weather threat as far as large hail or any kind of really strong winds. It's probably getting pretty breezy there in that line, but I think the flood risk there is the thing to keep in mind the most. So that's the synopsis here at the moment. Those storms starting to finally exit Sangamon County and Morgan County. Maybe North Macoupin County starting to get some action there and probably getting a decent dose of lightning there as well as that little line of storms passes on through. Now finally getting south of Chatham there. They're finally going to get a little bit of a break, maybe just some light rain there on the north side of that. But here's the story as of right now. That storm going to push into Vandalia there. Things are probably going to get quite a bit stormy there within a matter of minutes. So again, if you're outdoors or you are there in Vandalia, you probably want to stay under your roof here at the moment. Just kind of ride this one out as it'll get pretty wet and probably pretty windy there, and you're going to have some hailstones probably dropping off the rooftops there, about quarter size there. That's what we're seeing on the radar indications. Plenty of activity south of the area here, but that looks to, again, obviously stay south. So they kind of have a more eastern direction to them there. And our watch, one more time there, is in effect till 10 p.m. tonight. So over the course of the next 3 hours, we should see these storms kind of have their last breath and hopefully be done here for the night without causing too much mayhem. We did have quite a bit of noise made there with these storms as they moved through originally. So again, we had a storm that looked like it was rotating pretty decently. I'm not sure how far away we were from getting a tornado warning on that, but definitely saw some activity on there. And as anticipated, looks like one of these storms strengthening right as it exits southeastern Sangamon County there. So heading south of Auburn and Pawnee there, so getting out of the area that's been feeling the brunt of it here lately, but now starting to approach the Zenobia area there. And you can kind of see just right there, there's almost an appendage that formed out ahead of this storm, kind of giving it that little upside down, or I should say that kind of N shape there, that kind of lowercase N. So we might be not feeling any rain and divern in there, but that is going to change here in a matter of minutes, if not maybe a few seconds there, as that storm starts to close on in. Probably looking at 60-mile-an-hour winds here with this one, and we are seeing 60-mile-an-hour winds in quarter-size hail. So far southeastern Sangamon County, now getting ready to enter the northern, kind of we'll call it the panhandle there of Montgomery County, the northern panhandle there, and into western Christian County. That's where we're watching this line of storms start to dive on in. So straight line winds are the really the main storm threat here at the moment, in addition to that quarter-size hail. But it's the rain with this. It's the rain that's causing some concern. Now that's starting to exit the most affected areas there in Sangamon County, I think the concern lowers a little bit. But obviously, there's several folks that were in the path of this storm now in Fayette County. I'll draw that arrow again here, kind of just down this line, kind of exactly where that current severe storm is heading. So plenty of heavy rain down that direction already, and they're going to get some more here. So just be prepared there for some ditches to fill up and some possibly some roadways to have some water spill over them as well. So Vandalia, you're probably getting ready to feel it there, if not feeling it already, just south of Sharon there. See that core of the heaviest rain and the biggest hail starting to close in there. There's maybe a mile north of town there. So getting ready to feel that impact. And man, that storm on the south end, it's not weakening. That one's actually kind of picking up a little steam as well, despite it not going anywhere. So kind of the Kaskaskia, the Augsburg area, if you've got anyone out that direction, things have probably been headache inducing here for a little bit, as that rain just doesn't want to go anywhere. And on top of that, you've got a severe thunderstorm starting to close on in there on the same spot, just crawling, and I mean crawling at 15 miles an hour. That storm has no motivation to get out of here, and we just hope that it is either not wide enough to cause any flooding concerns, or it starts to pick up some steam there, because those storms just continue to train. Water's going to pile up there over the course of about an hour as that storm moves on through. But potentially seeing some more new storm chances enter western Macoupin County there. Just a few clusters of storms. It's kind of a scattered, disorganized pattern here as far as, I shouldn't say disorganized pattern, I should say kind of some slight unpredictability, to be frank, with where these storms are going to pop up here. You just see nothing, and then boom, all of a sudden you see those storms pop up there in one spot. They don't look too overly concerning here at the moment, but just kind of watch, and we'll see how those unfold. But we've got two severe thunderstorm warnings here, one in far southeastern Sangamon County, and one there right on top of Vandalia there in Fayette County, causing similar conditions. Heavy rain there is what we are seeing at the most. And I think I'm starting to. I think my radar may be a bit laggy here, so it's kind of cutting off some of the data, so we'll move around here and hopefully find a sweet spot where it doesn't do that. And so yeah, right southeast of the Auburn area, I'm kind of moving down I-55 there at the moment. I'm going to see if I can, I'm going to pull up a couple of cameras here. I'm going to keep radar on while I'm doing that. I'm going to see if Effingham and Springfield are seeing a lot of action here. So I'll wiggle those around here for just a moment. And I'm going to actually just toss on Springfield here real quick. If that thumbnail is a representation of what's happening there right this moment, and you're seeing, you're seeing some pretty heavy rain there. So kind of lowering of visibilities as that heavy rain dumps onto the state capitol there. Now it looks like we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning joining the equation here. That might be that stuff knocking on the door west of Macoupin County. And nope, that actually is, it's actually the same storm that we're watching here in southeastern Sangamon County, now into, again, kind of that panhandle there of Montgomery County. I'm not sure what the dialect is there for that portion of the county, but that's kind of what I'll refer to it here for now. But that's kind of where we're watching here is these the strongest, kind of the core of this storm, even though it's a line, kind of the centerpiece of this storm is about to, looks like it's going to take a little bit of a southern turn there, kind of go up and down I-55. So Farmersville, Pittman, kind of get ready for this one. Strong winds, heavy rain. Harville, you saw that near 2-inch hail earlier. Maybe not going to get that big on the hail, but you're going to see some pretty heavy rain pass into the area there in just a moment. So get ready for some of that. Morrisonville probably going to get some heavy rain despite not being there in the warning boxes. So kind of, unfortunately, taking round two here in a lot of these places. Just a trail from about the Chatham-Auburn area, just kind of making a diagonal line around Morrisonville there, and even into parts of northwestern Fayette County, kind of looking like the place, or kind of looking like these storms are lining up there to really overlap into the same place. So that does cause flooding concern, and as I've alluded to here a couple of times now, that's kind of my biggest concern here with some of these. Maybe the hail is making its impact felt there in Fayette County for sure, but the overall area-wide risk kind of sits more in that flooding threat here. So continuing to watch. I wouldn't be shocked at some point if we have some flash flood warnings popping up here along this line of storms, and perhaps even Fayette County there at some point. If not now, perhaps later in the night when that line kind of starts to move through that direction, because if you're getting rain to puddle up right now and an hour or an hour and a half later another line of storms arrive, yeah, the water will be able to recede a little bit, but it's not going to give it really a ton of time there to move on down before another slow moving line starts to pass over the same region. So with all this in mind, taking a wide shot here, we're going to update you again on what's happened so far today and what we're going to see here throughout the rest of the night. Just going to give a little bit of a reset. This will be a little bit of a quicker one, though, since we have some active storms here to follow with this one. I do want to pop up the current alerts here. It's always a good way to overview what's going on here in the area. So you're going to see that pink box right off the bat covering several counties. That would be your severe thunderstorm watch box that is active until 10 p.m. tonight. That's kind of when we're watching the best chances there for some of these severe storms. And I don't know if you just saw it there on screen just a moment ago, but that flash flood warning around the Sangamon County area has now expanded, pretty much covering the entire county, or at least along and west of I-55 is under that flash flood warning. And that now creeps into parts of Morgan County along around I-72 as well. And there's those active severe thunderstorm warnings as well. Those boxes you see highlighted in yellow. Again, just going to give a very quick run through here because we have some activity picking up here, obviously. So throughout the night, flooding really starting to be the highest risk. That is pretty even there with those high winds. I think we can see some strong winds with this line of storms. But hail, still a threat, but not as much of one. And as we see this line of storms move through, that's going to, it's not really going to allow for as much of a tornado chance there. So I'm going to toss on our future track here real quick, and then we'll get right back to radar. Here's what we're looking at the rest of the night. Anyone just now joining, wondering about where things are going to happen there in your area. For half of us, if you're watching here in the right places, probably nothing's going to happen. Around the I-57 region, anywhere along and east of that, it doesn't look like anything's going to happen. Now, west of that, a different story. As you can see, that line of storms will continue to kind of bow up and head south, kind of hit our southern frontier of counties. And again, just kind of watching the track of this, that will start to pass over the Fayette and Effingham County areas. Although Effingham isn't feeling it too much here at the moment, Fayette County certainly is, so it could be kind of a double whammy there as we move on to the night, and things should clear up there once we cross the 10/11 o'clock hour. So back to our radar image here, keeping track of the current situation. And we've got another severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like this one is taking this storm outside of the area here, but obviously something to watch as these storms kind of get ready to clash together. Still have the kind of that gap between them heading down 51 there just south of Vandalia. But it looks like those two are going to kind of mesh together here in just a moment. And hopefully we don't see them stall as a result there. Hopefully we can get enough momentum still there moving southeast to where the storm doesn't just sit on one spot. So kind of, again, right over the top of Vandalia there and south of Vandalia, kind of the Kaskaskia area, getting the brunt here of this storm chance with that pushing on through. In the very southern reaches of the area here, but still important to those in the area. We've got someone there watching in southeastern Fayette County. That's probably, depends on where you're at there in southeastern Fayette, but you're probably watching this from afar here at the moment. And hopefully you can dodge it here, but obviously be ready if you are a bit west and obviously around 51 there. As things do look like they're going to be pretty wet here for a while, and might even hear some of the hail dropping on the roof as well. Not to be forgotten, though, around the I-55 region, now exiting Sangamon County there from the south and entering northwestern Montgomery County, probably hitting parts of Christian County here as well before too long. Wouldn't be too shocked to see this, at least the impacts of the storm kind of reach into western Christian County there, so maybe Morrisonville, despite not being in that warning box. You might get yourself a pretty decent storm here after a while. So that's those are the two areas to watch here at the moment. Maybe a kind of a third area of interest kind of populating around here in the southern Macoupin County area, but that's kind of the southern reaches here of our viewing area. Got Mr. Kyle Webb coming on in here in the chat asking about Effingham. At the moment, Kyle, things are looking fine there for Effingham, just kind of watching a storm out there towards your west. Later on in the night, though, this is the line to watch, kind of drawing that arrow. Just kind of depends what direction it goes, and if it builds on itself there later in the night, things may stay west of you, but that's the line to watch, that one just south of the Springfield area there right now, watching how that moves throughout the night and where it moves as well. But some pretty slow moving storms here, so it'll be a little while before it can touch the Effingham area. But that stuff in Vandalia, looking like that's going to exit the area there without leaking over there into Effingham County. So that's the, yep, no problem there, Kyle. That's the look for the Effingham area there, but obviously things getting pretty intense in Vandalia there at the moment. So that cell is kind of flattened, kind of starting to cover a little more area, kind of stretching between Mulberry Grove and Otago there, as that is probably the area where you're feeling some pretty heavy rain, probably some strong winds there, and even up to quarter-size hail, although it looks like that hail indication is starting to recede there a little bit, not seeing quite as much pink there within that storm. So that is where we are going to, we're going to continue to watch closely here. And again, northwest of the area, or northwest of this portion of the area, I should say, watching that storm as it looks like it's starting to develop a pretty decent core of hail there as well. You start to see that pink in there. And again, about quarter-size hail anticipated here with this one, 60-mile-an-hour gusts as well. And a flooding concern to go along with that. That flash flood warning that expanded earlier, I'm going to get a closer look at that there because we didn't look at that one for too long. So yeah, a lot of Sangamon County there, really pretty much the whole county except the eastern reaches there. I'm going to try to get that severe thunderstorm warning off the page there because we know what's packed into that one. But here's your flash flood warnings. That one for the central part, kind of right there where the interstates connect, that one's only till 7:30. We'll watch and see what they do with that one. It's hard to tell where the borders here with that one, but that's kind of the part protruding southeast there of the main green boxes. We'll see what they do as far as, we'll see what happens as far as what they decide to do with that flash flood warning, whether they decide to extend the time on that or keep it the way it is. But obviously the rest of the green boxes there seen until 9:15. Even got one till 10 o'clock there in eastern Morgan County as well. So I've got someone here on our YouTube commenting, looking worse than it probably is here on Lake Shelbyville. So yeah, kind of let me get my radar popped back up here. Kind of getting the, just kind of the view of these storms here as you move further east, kind of most of Christian County, Shelby County there, again, Effingham County, just kind of watching the storms here pass on from your west. And there's probably some pretty dark looking clouds there. So yeah, it looks a little scary out that way, but obviously in that little portion of the area, not really too concerned about any imminent threat there. And really just kind of, this is about as far east as these storms track here at the moment. I'm not seeing any kind of strong storm indications that really reach too far east of I-55. We've had a little bit of noise here in Moultrie County, Piatt County, kind of around kind of along 36 there. But I don't think that's done a whole lot there. It may be just kind of some slow trailing rain, but that's kind of the extent of it. Amy says constant thunder from that Fayette County storm is amazing. She is just east of it there, so hopefully staying out of the brunt of that. But yeah, this has been a slow-moving storm. You're probably getting quite a bit of, we'll put this in motion here, probably getting, and we'll take it off of a 3-hour loop there. We want it to stay nice and concise there for us. So, and locked up there. Let me get my stuff rearranged here. Sometimes these computers get a little laggy once they loop here too long on these radars. But yeah, here we go. We'll toss lightning back on there again. And yeah, for quite a while now, probably that southern storm has been the one causing quite a bit of what you're hearing as far as thunder. The brighter the lightning doesn't equal the stronger. That means the more recent. So you're probably really hearing it roar there south of, or in the southern part of Fayette County there around the Kaskaskia area. And again, that one's starting to look like the more impressive half there, as you can kind of see the reds and pinks pick up there in the southern reaches of Fayette County. So again, I'm curious to watch and see here flash flood concerns. There's been quite a bit of rain there in Fayette County, and I'd argue at this point nearly a similar situation to what we saw in Sangamon County. Maybe not quite as bad since this is still just round one here of your storms, but it's a slow-moving storm. And that was the case earlier. So if our past is any indication there of the future, I would be thinking that there's probably some puddling up occurring there in Fayette County. as we start to head closer and closer there to sunset, about an hour away from that, here at the 7 o'clock hour of our Sunday night and our Mother's Day as well. So probably a bit stormier than some of us would have wanted here for tonight, but it's kind of what we have to. It's kind of what we have to account for here as we pass in kind of the supper time there. Looks like we're kind of past that point, but obviously getting into the evening. Last little bit here of the weekend before we move on here into yet another week, and gonna have to deal with some storms there, so probably staying inside as we approach sunset here around and west of I-55, with a slight exception there around the I-70 area. And really, those of you along, or I should say west of I-55, your storm chances are kind of going to come to an end here soon. Really look like Macoupin County is the last frontier for those that direction, because once this line of storms moves through, it looks like things are going to be fine here the rest of the night. So Springfield, you're in the clear here for the night, as you're just getting some light rain there on the other side. Thankfully, Chatham and Auburn and Loami out that direction, you're finally starting to get a let up there in the action as well. Maybe some more light rain there to tack on to what you already got, but thankfully the areas hardest hit are going to see those storms find the exit there and not cause so much of a headache here for the next few days. Thankfully, even though we're going to get some, unfortunately, going to get some flooding here in a few spots of the area, thankfully we have a little bit of a dry stretch here for the week ahead. I say thankfully for those obviously getting the rain, but others, they want the rain, and it doesn't look like we're going to get it there along and east of I-57. So obviously those that are feeling a little bit dry, we want to cash in on the rain, but there's a lot of people that are getting too much rain there. Wish we could spread it out over a larger area, but that's how the cookie crumbles here tonight. And those who are feeling the rain are unfortunately going to get some more of it. But as I mentioned, thankfully there we're going to have some dry time in the week ahead for those areas that are feeling the rain to get a bit of a break there from it and just kind of exhale for a little bit. Obviously here in the moment though, things getting pretty intense there on the Montgomery County portion of I-55, kind of the Zenobia area. That's where the strongest part of the storm is passing on through there. Not seeing quite as much pink in there, so maybe not seeing the hail threat. But I definitely see some heavy rainfall in that portion of the area. Checking on our storm in Fayette County, looks like that one is about halfway through Vandalia there, soon to end in that part of the county there. Maybe starting to see that southern storm push a little bit south, but it looks a little stingy here. Unfortunately, it looks a little bit stingy and doesn't want to move too much. I'm curious to see, this is probably still just trudging along there at no more than 15 miles an hour. We do have ping pong ball sized hail there in a far southern Fayette County there. That is not the one over the top of Vandalia there at the moment. That one's just producing quarter size hail, but that one just north of Leicester, so just outside of the area there, that is the one that is producing ping pong ball size hail. So perhaps you can still hear us out that direction. The Patoka, Leicester region, kind of getting there towards Kinmundy. It's kind of down my direction there. I'm around from the Effingham area, so I do recognize some of those towns out that way, but obviously getting a little bit outside the area. But if you're down that direction, get ready there for some decent sized hail. The southern part of that storm is still packing quite a bit of punch, as is the northern one there. Again, Vandalia probably getting plenty of rain there, probably getting more than your fair share at the moment. Still watching that little cluster down there in southern Macoupin County. Doesn't look too concerning there at the moment. There's still some buildup going on there with that. And that is that's kind of what we're looking at here right now, is heavy rain and probably some strong winds. We'll check back in on our gusts there, because things are probably getting a bit breezy here for some of us. So we'll punch on our current gusts here, and we'll see again along that line, about 30, maybe 35 mile an hour gusts there. Even where you're not feeling the storms there, just kind of along that boundary, even Champaign and Danville might be getting 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts. So things staying pretty strong as far as winds go, but obviously storm free once you get east of Decatur there. Just dealing with some of those stronger winds. Haven't had any, I'll double check there before I say anything, but I haven't had any recent reports of anything new as far as damages go. Divernon did get ping pong ball size hail, 1.5 inches in diameter there, as it exited southern Sangamon County there. So still got some pretty nice hail sizes in that one as it moved on through, but obviously you can see colors changing to more of the reds. So probably seeing some smaller hail there as that fades into Montgomery and far western Christian County. And this is the rest of the storm threat here tonight. Is this line that we're watching and that storm down in Fayette County. So once you get northwest of these storms, you should be in good shape here for the rest of the night. Maybe just see a few additional showers, and that's the extent of what you'll see there. So anybody out there in the chat has any kind of questions here about the way things are going? Again, I'll kind of before I field some of those questions, if anybody does have some, I'm going to toss on that severe thunderstorm watch box to kind of answer some of those that are asking about their area. If you're not in the pink, you should be good here tonight. You might see a few storms, kind of the edge of them, but I really think that county in pink is nailing it pretty good there as far as where your severe storm threat resides. So if you're not in the pink there, things are looking fine. If you are in the pink but haven't felt anything yet, your threat comes as that line moves on through, so kind of more the Shelby and Effingham County areas, the ones that haven't had much rain here tonight, haven't had much storms. That's kind of your opportunity there to get some of those is closer to the 10 o'clock hour as that line rolls on out here. And we've got a severe thunderstorm warning that looks like the one in Montgomery County has now stretched over into Christian County now as well. Yep, so we've kind of got ourselves a little bit of a kind of a funky looking polygon here, but that will include the Morrisonville area there, maybe just southwest of Bear Creek there. So that is a storm to watch, as it looks like that one's pretty hefty. That's a pretty decent sized one. But again, kind of along that line, making more of a wind threat there with that particular storm, but also some strong winds here along the leading edge of some of these storms. As obviously when you start to get that line shape, don't really have much of a bow shape here with this one, but when we see that, that's when you know those winds are really kind of intensifying there. So that is the situation there along I-55 or Vandalia storm there, kind of starting to pancake a little bit and kind of reach county-wide there from west to east, kind of encasing much of the county. But it looks like the strongest part of that storm is now starting to exit the area south. So one less problem to worry about here after a little while here as far as our coverage area goes. So let's see here. Okay, so we've got a report from Riverton in Sangamon County. This is an actual a report from a Kokoros observer there. So in the last 2 hours, 2.3 inches of rain there. Again, 2 miles west of Riverton. So that's kind of what we were seeing there earlier was around 2, maybe up to 3 inches of rain there in a few places, just within the span of about obviously 1 to 2 hours. So 2.3 inches in 2 hours there in Riverton. That is a Kokoros observer report there. Those folks that report the rainfall totals that they see there to us, very important here for situations like this, for knowing what's going on there on the ground in multiple parts of the area there. That's how we get a good chunk of our rainfall reports there, other than the ones at the observation stations, which obviously are helpful as well. But I'm sure a good chunk of our viewing area is tuning in here, seeing things that are not really affecting them. Again, Decatur, Bloomington, Champaign, Danville, Mattoon, Charleston, Paris. You guys really aren't seeing anything here the rest of the night. It's all staying west here. It's all staying well west of I-57, pretty much just in the, just kind of up and down, just kind of east of I-55 here, kind of along 51 here, I would say is your dividing line for where your best storm chances are. Although, kind of been watching this little cluster in Moultrie County, starting to move there into Coles County. Not seeing too much intensity out of that. I'm tossing on lightning there right now, and I don't see any lightning bolts in that cluster. So obviously no storms there, just some rain in patches. And the main threat obviously staying where it has much of the night, at least the entire time that we've been here on the stream anyway. So hopefully before too long, Fayette County won't be something to be concerned about here with storm chances, at least for the moment. Like I said, that one of the northwest is probably going to hit you there by the end of the night. So once that moves on through, give yourself a little time to kind of recuperate there and get some things moved inside that maybe you didn't there for the first storm, and kind of get ready for that second line. This storm is really kind of bubbling up here around the Zenobia, Morrisonville area, kind of becoming pretty circular in nature there. Not that that suggests anything. They're just kind of getting a little more aerial coverage there with that storm. And some strong winds in there as well. I'm just going to kind of toss on the velocity here real quick. We haven't looked at that here tonight. So again, you kind of see some of those brighter reds. That's kind of the leading edge there of that those gusts there with the storms. We're feeling winds pretty much all along that line, but particularly where you see the highlighted red. That's where you get some of those strongest winds. Toss back on our radar image and put it back in motion there. And we will fix that again to just show the last hour. So hopefully it looks like one chance is about to cross off the list here with the Fayette County storm moving out. And we'll watch this line as it moves on through. Don't have any shows here until 9 o'clock. We've got our forecast already pretty well handled here. So for those in the path of these storms, definitely feel free to stay tuned here into the live stream, as we'll continue to watch these as we have the time to do so here. So we'll certainly keep you informed as long as severe weather persists. And you will not be left in the dark here with these storms as they move on through for a lot of us for the second time tonight, at least in this particular chunk of the area. So I haven't heard any new extensions on any kind of flash flood warnings or any issuances of any new ones here of late. Good to hear, of course, but it doesn't mean that there's not going to be anything coming here at some point. Going to check in on that Vandalia one. Still seeing possibly quarter-size hail with that one. And I'll give a zoom out here, and we'll look at an update on our rainfall totals, our radar indicated rainfall totals here. Again, radar doing the best job that it can. I'm going to go straight to 1 hour here real quick. I'm going to kind of see recently where the hot spots have been, and there's a shady yellow there, and this is just within the last hour. So this is easily just the second round of storms there between Chatham and Auburn. I mean, that's where it's been. That has been where the action is. 2.5 inches there in the last hour, according to the radar indicated totals there. So pile that on top of already probably 2 inches there from earlier. That'll give you your flash flood warning. And that'll give you some roads flooding over there, and some water leaking over the roadways, filling up the ditches there. And Fayette County, maybe not quite as bad there as we thought maybe it was going to be here with some of these rainfall totals. But in the last hour, an inch there between Sharon and Ramsey, and 1.2 just east of Kaskaskia. And obviously that storm is still overlapping where you see those blues and greens here. So we're just going to continue to add on to those here as that cell moves on through. Now I'm going to change things up here, concentrate right here around the Sangamon County area. And now we're going to look at the 3 hour totals there. You can definitely see some overlap here in a few areas. The yellow, I believe, is around the 3-inch range there. So you have 3.3 there just north of Auburn. North of Springfield, actually picking up near 3 inches according to the radar indicated totals as well. And maybe just 1.3 there around the Pawnee area. But you see anywhere in the green, the really lime green and the yellow, it kind of overlaps where those flash flood warnings are. So plenty of rain has fallen there, unfortunately, in the same spots. There's a lot of us that would like a little bit more rain, maybe not feeling completely dry, but at that point where you could use a little bit of water there. Just kind of out of luck here for some of us east of I-55 here at the moment. Toss back on radar here, keep track of where things are heading. And again, this is a pretty decent looking portion of the storm here, about to enter western Christian County and northern Montgomery County. So we'll continue to watch that one as it pushes on through here. And that storm around Kid Mundy area, that one's not looking too bad. That one's actually looking pretty impressive there. So you can see the pink and kind of the just the shape of that one there is pretty impressive as it exits the area, and it's probably got bunches of lightning still tossed in that one. So that storm every bit as strong as it was there at the very beginning as it starts to leave the area. But I have this on the 3 hour loop on purpose this time. I'm gonna put the loop on here. We're just gonna see how long. So since about 5 o'clock, these storms have been in Fayette County. maybe more towards the 5:30 range there, it looks like, so 5:30, 5:45. That's how long those storms have been in Fayette County. So it's been kind of a long last hour and a half here for some of you, with that rain piling up. And probably getting pretty windy there where you are still under that severe thunderstorm warning box. That'll continue to be the case here for a little bit. We'll go back to the shorter loop here. So anyone in the Sangamon County area, Morgan County there as well, we'll probably see your severe thunderstorm watch box disappear here before too long, as your storm chances really look to be concluding there behind that line of storms as they push on out of the area. So we'll watch and see how that unfolds. But again, once this line passes on through, you're done for the night as far as your storm chances go. That'll last for about another 3 hours. Is your severe thunderstorm watch. So we'll continue to keep track as these storms move to the southeast, and as we get closer to that 10 o'clock hour, where things should pretty well start to slow down. We've got a pretty intense storm down here now. I saw that box change the thickness there on the edges, indicating that it is a bit more of a damaging storm here now. So we've got 60-mile-an-hour gusts and golf ball size hail, but again, that one is now exiting the area, so not a concern for anyone there included immediately in the viewing area. Maybe just far southern Fayette County there, things are getting a little rough, but as that exits on out there and starts to head more into the Marion County jurisdiction there, starts to leave our area and carry on down there to the south. So looking like we're about to cross that one off the list. Maybe some additional heavy rain there in Vandalia, but something to watch here. Carlinville, you're getting, or excuse me, all of Macoupin County, including Carlinville there, you're getting a lot of rain. The Shipman area, Gillespie, Staunton, you're getting all kinds of rain there, starting to form a little more in an organized cluster there over the county. And yeah, this line of storms here before too long is going to have pretty intense rain all across its reach there, from far western Christian County all the way down there into the southwestern portion of Macoupin County. So going to have, no matter where you're at along that line, going to have pretty heavy rain to deal with there. And just kind of drawing this out here, if that direction kind of stays where it's going to go, again, we're looking at possibly round 2 for Fayette County there at some point, and obviously Montgomery County, who's seen quite a bit here tonight as well. So you'll watch that line as it moves on through. We've kind of passed the point where you're worried about severe weather, and more at the point where you're worried about getting too much rain. And that's kind of been the story here. Obviously, we've said it a couple times as this moves on through. We'll get that off our screen here. And really not any good cameras to look at here, unfortunately. I know it kind of makes for a little bit of a monotonous show here just watching the radar loops. But Effingham, we're too far away to see too much, and Springfield, we're getting too much rain there to really see a whole lot of activity. Next closest cam is Mattoon and Charleston, but obviously that's well away from any of those storms. So we'll just have to continue to watch what's happening here. And as we go throughout the night, again, going to continue to see that general direction here towards the southeast, and we should slowly see the watch boxes kind of disappearing from the area as this line of storms moves on through. So as I said a moment ago, Morgan County, Sangamon County, even if you're still officially in that watch box, I don't think you will be there for too long. And even if it takes a little bit for that watch to get removed, your storm chances here have really wrapped up. You're just going to start to feel some light rain here and there, some nice pleasant rain there. Bitter pattering off the roof and windows, but obviously you don't want more than what you've had, because you've had a bit too much here today. You just want that to be over with here at this point. So we're kind of on the edge of our area here. Our coverage goes all the way out here west of I-55 down there in Macoupin County, but obviously a lot of us that are keeping track of stuff here, probably from the Champaign area, the Decatur area, Mattoon, Charleston, maybe up there into the Ford County region, Danville. Again, any of those towns I just mentioned, you're really not any kind of threat here. This is kind of just for some of our folks there on the far southwestern edge of the area, are the ones we're keeping track of here at the moment. For those of you that are still around, or perhaps just tuning in here, we'll toss on your future track real quick and just kind of show you where these storms are heading. And again, to no one's surprise there, we're going to see that line push on through. And once it does, storm chances pretty much over there. So around I-57, not seeing a whole lot here for the rest of the night for you. Maybe a couple showers, but aside from that, you're really not going to see too much here. We're going to make sure this line of storms is in check as it rolls on through. Our Fayette County storm looks like it's about to be taken care of there. Just kind of watching as this the southwestern edge of this line develops some. We'll keep an eye here for just a little bit. Obviously, do have a couple of warnings still to watch, but we don't have too many people here still watching. We've got a good handful here still. We want to keep things going here for you. But if things start to calm down here just a little bit, we may take a hop off the digital platforms here in just a little while. I've said pretty much all that needs to be said as far as the flood concerns. So just kind of keep an eye on things there as this line continues to build and move southeast. But severe chances, they're still there. Obviously, you have that warning up there, and I'm watching that cluster in Macoupin County. I wouldn't be shocked if at some point we start to get some stronger storms in there, maybe or may not be severe status. But that's pretty much the only other area that I'm watching as far as new storms, storms that we haven't been keeping track here for a while. But once this line moves on through, and we're starting to get to that point here, Sangamon County, you're good. Christian County, that southwestern corner, you're going to be dealing with storms here for a little bit. But after a while, it's going to be a thing of the past here. And you're going to just see some light rain for the rest of the night once this moves on through. Morrisonville, probably getting some good rain here at the moment. Raymond, just south of the threat here. Farmersville, getting some good rain as well. Pretty steady rain. Probably strong winds are what's keeping these severe warnings. It doesn't look like any kind of impressive hail signatures on there. There is a quarter size indication on there. I do have an update to share with the flash flood warning area. Now extending into a good chunk there of Christian County as well. These pop up automatically there based on where you're at on the screen, so I'm going to try to keep things tidy here. But there's that new flash flood warning for Christian County. That looks like it just misses Taylorville, just kind of the southwest of town there. But Morrisonville, you're in that one. That's till 10:30 as rain trains on itself there and will fall in the same spot pretty slowly. When you see 10:30, that's obviously 3 hours from now. That's quite a bit of time there for that warning to be out there. And that's just because the rain's going to keep moving pretty slowly. Not saying the rain's going to be there till 10:30, but that's obviously how long you have to keep an eye on things for the rising water in that direction. So flash flood warning has now really covered a good chunk of the Sangamon County area. Now taking up half of Christian County as well. And obviously still encompassing parts of Morgan and just tiny shades of Cass and Menard counties as well. And you can see storms out here to the west. They're kind of, the river there has been under some flood warnings here for a while, but kind of just watching that little thin rectangle there, just west of Carrollton. As storms from earlier obviously produced enough heavy rain and we're slow moving enough to put those out here. So just kind of this southwestern corner of the area, the flood risk is the thing that we're keeping track of here, moving on into the rest of the night. This cluster of storms you see right now, this will be it. This will be the conclusion of these. But yeah, I mean that's pretty impressive looking cluster there, moving into southwestern Macoupin County. So something to continue to monitor, even if it is just on the edge of the area there. Looking like there's still plenty of heavy rain to be found in those. Probably some strong winds as well. So we may or may not see them reach 60 miles an hour, which would prompt a severe storm. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see here. It certainly looks like they're building a little more structure to them, though, getting some of those pretty solid center of the storm there with all that red around the Shipman and Gillespie and Staunton area in far southern Macoupin County. But as I mentioned here soon, your storm chances should be wrapping up there as this line advances. you should be good there for the rest of the night. But again, this is the thing. This is the thing I've kind of been I've had some few questions on just how this storm is going to move, as that southern one kind of blocked that one moving north to south. It kind of slowed both of them down there, so still probably getting some rain in parts of Vandalia and plenty there in Kaskaskia as well. So a situation to watch for puddling of rain that way as well. For the rest of us, though, some mild showers along the I-72 corridor now. Looking like anywhere along I-72, you're just going to see some showers, and that's about it here for the night. But Harville, you had some 2-inch hail earlier. Well, now you might be getting some 60-mile-an-hour winds as well. You probably had that earlier too, but if not, well, second chance, unfortunately, to get some of that. Probably some heavier rain that you don't need at this point too, as is the case for a lot of us here in Montgomery County. We do have a looks like an extension there of that warning, just kind of covering a little more area there in southwestern Christian County. We've got an expansion there of that severe warning storm. This is in effect until looks like 8 p.m., so about 35 minutes there for that warning time. And heavy rain, heavy rain, heavy rain, like a broken record here. But that is that's the concern now. Winds might pack a little bit of a punch, but rain is going to pack more of a punch here, I think, as we go on through the rest of tonight. In particular, I'm watching this cluster in Macoupin County. Obviously, it's bringing those in that area some pretty heavy rain, but I'm just curious as to, as this moves east, is it going to end up right there in Fayette County again? And if that holds together, it looks like that's the direction it's heading. In which case, more rain where they don't need it there, especially Vandalia on south has just not seen a break in the rain here for a little bit. So that's what to watch here looking ahead. So obviously stay safe, stay indoors, stay away from any kind of low-lying areas there. If you're driving around tonight, I'm sure there's some high schoolers or even some college kids that are off now after graduation that are wanting to have a little fun tonight, maybe drive around. Just keep an eye on them, make sure they're careful there in this part of the area, because there's going to be some water over the road here in some spots, unfortunately, at some point it looks like. So just want to keep an eye on them, make sure they are sticking to some of the areas that don't flood quite as easily, to make sure they are able to stay safe here tonight, or of course just have them stick close to home. Just don't want them to get caught in a situation there where you've got water over the road. We talked about 6 inches of standing water there in Sangamon County. That was earlier here this afternoon, but if you get that same situation with some of these southern areas, all it takes is 6 inches of water. Once it starts to moving, that can take a person, can sweep someone off their feet and stall a vehicle. Again, just 6 inches of water stalls a vehicle there. And when you get up to a foot, that's when things start to carry the vehicle. So just be careful here with this this flash flooding potential down this direction, as that could certainly cause some unique problems of their own, despite not being involved in the determination of whether or not a storm is severe. That comes down strictly to hail, wind, and presence of a tornado or not, which we do not see that here at the moment. But we do see some strong enough winds in a few spots to keep these warnings going. Maybe still quarter-size hail, but that's starting to become a little less common, I believe, as we continue to see this line move on through. Haven't had any updates on the watch box cancellations, but I'll say it one more time there. Once that line moves through, you're good for the night. So Springfield area, much of Sangamon County. Here after a while, Christian County, you're going to be done with severe storm chances. Not done with your impacts necessarily with all that rain, but your storm chances wrap up there as that line pushes on through. And we're getting pretty lucky that this one's moving out of the air, because that storm is storm's still looking pretty good as it exits Fayette County there, kind of getting again into the Marion County jurisdiction there, the Salem area. My dad works down that direction there a few times during the week, so familiar area to him. Gonna have quite a bit of a punch there in a little bit. It's probably some pretty good size hail out that way. But again, nothing for us to be concerned about there. Strongest storm is outside the area, and you're looking at the strongest storms here in the area in this little corner. Macoupin County getting some good rain. I say good rain, getting quite a bit of rain there. Not saying it's a good thing, just saying getting a pretty steady amount that direction. So just going to continue to watch these as they stay severe warned. Again, I've said it before, your impacts are going to remain the same whether or not these are severe warned or not. Strong winds are obviously going to be felt here at the leading edge of these storms and going to have some gusty conditions behind them. Hail, yes, still possible at quarter size there, but not as concerned about that anymore as what we were earlier today. It's the rainfall. It's the rainfall. It's the rainfall we have to watch for. As this area has already seen one round and getting another round here. Moving on into the sunset hours here in the next 30 minutes or so. We start to see that, start to see the darkening of the skies and moving on here into the Sunday night time frame where things, yes, do look to be a bit calmer here. Some showers possible, but not looking at storm chances once we cross the 10 o'clock hour here tonight. So again, I'll watch how this one develops here, but I'm not concerned too much about any kind of a crazy storm development here. We're all well aware of where this rain's heading. Where it's been is also where it's heading, unfortunately. We'll kind of see how this Christian County one evolves. And if we drop that warning here after a while, we'll probably wrap things up here. Originally meant to be just a little bit of an update on the current situation and what the rest of the night holds. Now we've kind of bled into, we talked about what the rest of the night holds, and we're kind of witnessing that unfold here. But nothing wrong with that. I'm glad we stayed on here and watched those storms move on through. But as we start to get into that point in time where it's just rain there, we'll obviously want to stay cautious of that, but nothing as far as extremely damaging winds or strong, impactful hail there. Looks like those chances are starting to fade the further and further into the night we go. And again, around that 10 o'clock area, things should be wrapping up. Maybe the Shelby County, Fayette County, Effingham County area, and obviously Montgomery County are going to really selectively be the ones feeling the storms here before too long. But again, the threat overall isn't too bad here. There might be still some severe storms tied in there, but nothing too high end, staying on the lower end there with both the winds and the hail. And obviously a bit of a soggy Mother's Day here for some. Hopefully things aren't doing too bad there where you are. Hopefully you're still able to have a good time there with all the mothers that we know. But obviously earlier today was much nicer than right now, even if it was warm and sticky. Warm and sticky is better than flooding. That is not much of a debate there. So taking a quick zoom in here, Morrisonville, you're feeling that rain. Nokomis, someone in here earlier said something about hail in Nokomis. Not sure if they're still in here, but looks like you'll get another round of storm action here, and right on cue. There's that extension of that severe thunderstorm warning into Montgomery County there. Now getting ready to hit parts of Nokomis, Roundtree, and just around the Hillsborough area as well. This is where we saw the biggest hail. This is where we saw 2-inch size hail in this direction here at one point. Also up there around I believe it was the Glenarm area there in Sangamon County. But where you saw big hail earlier, you're about to see some strong winds and heavy rain pass on through, as your severe thunderstorm warning has been extended down that direction. That one is going to be around until 8:15, so 45 minutes there on that one. As the storms are moving a little faster than the first line there, this is now moving twice as fast at 30 miles an hour. 30 is still pretty slow, but like I said, twice as fast as those crawlers that we had earlier. So continuing to watch this one, it's kind of got an interesting storm shape to it there. Anytime you kind of get the little kind of the C shape there that you kind of see south of Morrisonville, you just kind of watch for that because that does indicate a little bit of structure there within the storm. Not to allude that anything's going to rapidly develop there out of that, but it's still a pretty strong storm there. Obviously, if it's still got severe thunderstorm potential. Quarter size hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Nothing too new from what we've seen here tonight. got a couple people asking here just across the rest of the area. Again, Champaign, Bloomington, Decatur, Danville, Mattoon, Charleston, Gibson City, the Watseka area. You guys aren't going to get anything here. This is all just kind of in the southwest part of the area. And that's kind of where it'll remain. There's nothing that's going to get out of control here throughout the rest of the night. But I do just kind of want to watch this one continue to move on here. That's kind of why we're still on, just watching this storm pass through the same areas where we've seen some pretty intense rain at times. And the flash flood risk is obviously the thing to still keep in mind. But as I've said, I mean, there's really not much new to say here. By now, if you've been watching for a while, you know what's coming. You kind of know what's heading your direction. It does not appear there's going to be anything new happening here within the next few hours. So really not too concerned here. I'll watch this for maybe another few minutes. We'll see if it starts to kind of lose that structure, and if so, we'll probably wrap things up here and continue to get our stuff organized here as we move into the night shows here tonight. And like I said, thankfully, we're going to see some dry weather ahead for those dealing with the rain right now to get a little bit of a break from it. Some nice sunshine and near 80-degree temperatures here on the week ahead. It's going to feel like a nice spring week there. Be a nice first week off for some of the graduating seniors there, high school and college alike. Just get out there and enjoy the first bits of summer vacation there. But until then, rain to deal with. I'm going to look there at our rainfall totals again for the last 3 hours and see how that stacks up. Nothing as extreme as what we saw last week, but still something to monitor. Anywhere you see yellow, about 3 inches of rain. I think I kind of clicked in a really dim spot there because, yeah, yellow should be about 3 inches. So you see that north of Springfield. You see that in the Zenobia area, kind of southwest of Chatham as well. Drop those in and get those numbers popped up there. Your radar indicated rainfall totals between 2.5 and 3 inches, but not going to add too much more to that here throughout the night, thankfully. And the Vandalia area one has piled up there. You're probably looking close to 2 inches there at the moment, if not a little more. You are going to add to that here. Is the only problem with the southern part of the area here. I'm going to pop back on our radar image here and probably, well, I don't know. This one's kind of starting to extend a little bit more to the east. Don't want this one to fire up too much here, but we'll loop it and just kind of see how that storm is kind of expanded in its area here. It's kind of got some decent winds to it too. So I'll watch this one for a little bit just because it has gotten a little bit bigger, but generally not too worried about what we're seeing there out of that one. But just kind of want to watch it, kind of calm down there a little bit, and then we'll probably wrap things up here within, like I said, about the next 5 minutes, just watching that storm here for the most part. But we updated you on what's going to come the rest of the night and then kind of watched it unfold there. So as this line moves through, your chances for severe weather are effectively over. So in the clear there is really much of Christian County at this point. Obviously, that southwestern corner still getting the brunt of things right now, but Sangamon County, you're good. Anywhere north of these warnings, not seeing any kind of chance there for severe weather throughout the rest of the night. I'm just going to toss on the velocity images here around this storm. Again, you're seeing some stronger winds right around here, maybe just a little bit of wavering around there in the wind patterns, kind of giving it that little C shape there. You kind of see those reds intertwining there with the very, very, very faint green there. So I'm kind of giving it that little hole, that little dry spot there within the storm itself, and kind of giving it that kind of funky looking shape there. Just kind of that C looking shape there, south of Morrisonville. Heading to the Roundtree and Nokomis area where they saw big hail earlier. And we'll keep seeing at least some heavy rain here for now. You're getting drenched down there in southern Macoupin County and probably southern Montgomery County here before too long. Some pretty heavy rain up and down I-55 there in those two counties. And not much in the way of storm activity. I mean, obviously plenty of lightning in there, but you kind of see some of those darker bolts, older lightning. The lighter bolts, they're newer. So you're kind of seeing kind of a drop off there, starting to see some darker bolts scatter the page. This storm still one to watch for a little bit at least. But overall, I'm not too worried here about this one. Just going to kind of watch it as it moves on through. But again, haven't said anything new here for a while. Just kind of watching the same old. But just want to make sure things are looking good there. We'll probably call it here at 7:45, so about another 5 minutes here. We'll watch this storm move on through, and then it'll kind of effectively be. We're going to have a large chunk of the area be out of the severe weather risk here, so we're not going to be too worried about that once that threat moves on through. Obviously, Fayette County area, you're going to see some pretty heavy rain. You're going to see probably some puddling and maybe some flash flooding there in places. And that's pretty much all that's left here. The only questions unanswered. I've got someone asking Edgar County. Yep, Mindy, Edgar County, you're good. They're not going to see anything there out that direction. Just going to continue to watch Montgomery and Fayette at this point, and obviously Southwestern Christian. But again, next 2 or 3 minutes here, we're going to probably wrap up here as storm chances are becoming quite a bit localized here. So we will just watch as the rain continues. Got a question about Westville. Westville is also good out there towards the Danville area. You're good. Not seeing any chances out that direction. Just give you a little wide shot here. All the rain heading this way. So anywhere along the I-72 region here, kind of out in this area, not worried about anything. Nope. No storm chances here for you tonight. Didn't see too high of a chance anyway, but kind of had some questionable northern extent to where these storms would form. But they did, in fact, form right there around I-55 here. So, yep, no problem there. Answering some of those questions. Again, we'll put some touching notes here on what we're seeing. Obviously, things are going to get pretty windy here in Nokomis and Roundtree after a bit. Irving, kind of around 16 there. Witt. Windy and pretty rainy. The flash flood risk, though, is pretty much all I'm worried about here with that. And kind of just prepare, keep an eye there on radar as those storms move on through, but not worried about not worried about too much here. Not seeing really much hail anymore either. That one storm there in Marion County, well out of our area, starting to leave the Fayette County line there to the south. And that's pretty much all we've got here at the moment. Again, one more severe thunderstorm warning. That's got 60-mile-an-hour gusts and potentially quarter-size hail. So it could damage some trees there, maybe put a few dents in the car there if you get that quarter-size hail. But other than that, I think we're gonna close up shop here for the night as our risk is really minimalized here. If we get something to intensify here by surprise, we'll probably keep updates there on my own Facebook, but we'll probably in the clear there as far as streaming here for the night. Probably going to call it good for that. But stay up to date here with us on our social medias as we watch these last few storms move on through. Obviously be prepared for some heavy rain there and some flash flood chances, but effectively they're seeing most of us out of the severe weather chance. So that's probably going to do it for us. Thank you guys again for tuning in there. Hopefully you were able to get prepared as those storms moved on through. And hope you all were able to enjoy your Mother's Day there. And that's all we got for now. We'll be back on at 9 o'clock on Channel 49, WCIX, News at 9. And, of course, catch us back again at 10 o'clock on Channel 3 on CBS there. We'll give a wrap-up of what happened today and a look at the week ahead here. So, this is, for the first time, Meteorologist Seth Bohnhoff here, the new title, signing off here. Again, if you're in the path of that severe thunderstorm warning, be prepared for some strong winds and some heavy rain. But aside from that, looking like things have really subsided here. So we're going to call it good here for now. This is meteorologist Seth Bohnhoff signing off. And again, we'll see you on Channel 49 and Channel 3 here.